Okay, well, that was pretty quick. I'm back and I'm getting ready to actually can these eggs, these wonderfully baked eggs. That's okay, they're gonna be great. So I gotta kind of show you my setup here because there's a lot going on. I'm gonna pick you up and point out what I've got going on. It's kind of like you have to prepare everything before you start. So early this morning, I pulled out my big pot and I started, I have sanitizing jars in there. So I don't boil the water, I just get it really hot just before boil and just keep it on hot water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these tongs and I'm going to pull the jars out and place them on the counter. The sauce that we're going to use for canning is right here. In fact, I've got to stir it because it's starting to bubble. I had done about 4 jars of eggs about 10 minutes ago for Sam. They were his Asian sauce with onions in it. He set it up himself because he wanted some eggs to throw into his ramen when he eats those on the days that he has school. And then I'll show you where they are right now. That's my mess of egg peeling shells. And here's Sam's eggs. There's 4 jars. You could fit about 4 eggs in each jar. Right now they're cooling off in front of this fan. Sorry. And when the little jar tops, it looks like they have popped down already. Yep, they're cooling down. So once the lid pops down, it's sealed. And those ones I'm actually going to go ahead and just put in the fridge because some of the eggs had imperfect peeling. So that's okay. I have 2 bowls over here. One is our eggs with our misadventured eggs. And the other one, Bobby likes onions and bell peppers in the jars with his canned eggs. So we're going to put those in with eggs after we pull out some sanitized hot jars. I'm going to sit you down on the counter. Please don't fall over. There we go. And I'm going to show you the process and talk you through it. Once I use up all this tomato saucy stuff that Bobby likes, I also have a jar of old pickle juice. Not old, but used pickle juice, and that has canning salt in it and everything. I'll probably wash out this pan, heat this up, and pour that on top of the next batch of eggs. Who knows? I also kind of keep a box of my canning salt close because I am gonna spice it up a little bit with some more salt. I have my ladle to pour everything in, and this thing is just bubbling. So I'm probably going to turn the heat down a little bit. Once this is hot, these are sanitized. Eggs are at room temperature right now because I just peeled them after I pulled them out of the oven. But if you boil them and you pull them out of the water, you pour the water out and peel them, they should be fine. And then, I have my lids here. I use chopsticks to pull out the lids because you want to mitigate yourself from touching the inside of the lids. They were boiled, so they're sanitized and they're hot. So we're gonna let them sit there. And the process is I'm gonna pull out jars. I'm gonna put eggs, bell peppers, and onions inside. And then I'm going to ladle the sauce into the jars while it's real hot. Then I have a little paper towel here that I am going to douse with some vinegar. And with the doused vinegar, I'm going to wipe the rims of the jars off to make sure that they're clean. And then I'm going to pick up a lid gently, lay it on top of the jar, and then put the little ring on it to seal it. So if you see me doing stuff, that's the process. Boy, this thing is real impatient with me. It just keeps bubbling and popping, so I don't want it to splash everywhere. So let's get to work. I'm going to tilt you down a little bit so you can see my hands working. Might not say as much, but I'm going to be doing as much. So here's the workplace. Oh, here we go. Why don't we just lower the whole thing, Shannon? You guys have to understand, I'm still getting used to this whole filming and the camera and the selfie stick and all that stuff. So I'm taking the glasses off because I'm not going to need to read anything. And let's get our first jar. Always be careful with this. When you're dealing with real hot water in glass jars, you don't want to jump yourself and touch something you don't want to touch and then break glass. move this handle out of the way. I know for Bobby's stuff, I'm probably going to use all 5 jars. And what I'll do, I try to tip out as much water as possible. And then just sit the jars down. You can sit them upright. Yes, there's a few drops of water inside, but they'll evaporate within a minute, really. And this will be kind of nice to do because over the past few weeks, I've had all these jars sitting in the cabinet and taking up all the space in the cabinet where all the cups and glasses should be. All right, one more. If I was smart, I would have had my new jars, the next set, ready, and I could put them in here to sanitize for about 20 minutes until I get the next sauce going, but Shannon did not think ahead. So, we're going to take our eggs and start plopping them in. Eggs are funny, they just sort of drop. Bobby likes his bell peppers, although he likes them, sorry about my arm, he likes them sliced long ways. And I sliced them in 1/4 chunks, but it's kind of big for the jars, so I'm just going to do a quick slice, make them a little thinner. Oh hell, let's just do this. And by the way, the centerpieces and the what do you call it, the stem to these bell peppers was thrown into the vegetable stock that I had talked about earlier. So there's always something you can do with the leftover pieces. Now remember, I had talked about on my other video, I got some pretty good eggs here, but some of them kind of came apart while peeling them. I'll show you one. This one's really bad. Oh my god, look at this bad boy. He just like came apart while I was peeling. This you cannot store for a long time. So we got a bell pepper in there. We'll throw another bell pepper in, but we've also got some onions. So Bobby likes onions in there. We're going to throw some onions in. Hard vegetables like carrots, bell peppers, onions. I've seen people throw sausages in with their boiled eggs and can them, but when I tried it, the sausage had a little bit of grease with it. And when I was canning, I didn't like it so much to be in grease. So you could do that. It's delicious. And what I'm going to try to do is use the curve of the bell peppers and the onions to go around the eggs. Make it fun. If I have to, cut the pieces. Why not? And whatever I don't use these bell peppers for, or onions, maybe we'll cook it in something again later this week. I'm going for 4 eggs per jar. Here we go. But there's some eggs there. There's some eggs that were the accidental eggs that we got from the store, and others that are ginormous, like this one, because they're from the girls. So let's do some more onions. Yeah. But I know Bobby loves the bell peppers, so we're going to put some more of those. My baby likes his peppers. Now, a lot of the canning experts have one of those things that you jam it inside and it helps pack everything down. I think I'm going to slow down. I want to leave at least like a 1/2 inch of space to the top, so I don't want to overfill some of these. Some of those expert canners, they have these tools that they use to get bubbles out and they jam it down, and I can't use that because I can't figure out how to do that without like destroying the stuff inside. So I don't. Okay. And boiled eggs are real like squishy. So if you have to squish them down, get to squishing. I like it. I'm trying to find some eggs that'll fit. It's like egg Tetris. And I'll put a couple more onions on top. Yeah. Ooh, little onions. Perfect. And these onions and the bell peppers, they're going to absorb that tomatoey taste. And then on days when Bobby just feels like a snack, he just grabs a jar, pops it open, gets a fork, pulls it out. And it's just enough to kind of hold him over until dinner time. You know, good protein too. And it's good clean food. I mean, we're really only using tomato sauce, water, eggs, bell peppers, and onions. That's it. I don't think I didn't even put any canning salt in this. I'm debating on just not doing it because, well, I mean, tomato sauce is kind of salty enough. So, okay. So now we have our clean jars. I'm going to let this bubble a little bit. I brought it back up to heat. What I like to do is kind of make sure my jar's not too close to the edge, because Shannon can get a little clumsy. But I try to mitigate having a ladle travel over a whole bunch of area. Okay, and then I'm also going to get my lids ready. If you don't know how to use chopsticks, you can try to use, they have one of those sticks with a magnet that you could pull these lids out of, but I don't have that. So hot water, chopsticks, pulls them out just fine. I've got at least 5 in there. And when I'm canning stuff, I always have an extra jar. Just, it's not sanitized, but in case I need to fill it with water and pour it in to replace any water, it's kind of off to the side. So this is starting to bubble and it's starting to steam. So while I've got it nice and hot, this is the key to the play. We're going to ladle in the hot juices. I'm going to give that a second. I hear chickens gobbling outside. There we go. Sometimes you're going to have much more of the juice than you are of jar space, and that's okay. And I'm going to fill the juice as high as I can over the top of the eggs. Since these are not going to store at room temperature, I'm not going to worry too much if it doesn't cover all the way. The eggs kind of floated up a little bit. Did you see that? There we go. Okay. Put that aside. Get your clean towel or a paper towel. I like to use the paper towel because a lot of the towels I have in my kitchen I use for wiping down the counters, wiping off my hands, blah blah blah. And it may not be quite as clean as a new piece of paper towel. Now what I do is I just wipe the edge gently around the top. Careful when you're touching the glass because it's really hot. First time I did this, I just grabbed the glass and nearly dropped it. Then once that's cleaned off, I'm going to grab my lid. And then lay that on top. Perfect. And then I'm going to do the next one. I'm just going to do 2 for now. Well, why not? Let's just do them all. Wipe your edge. Hot lid, hot lid. I can feel it push down the egg. See the eggs pushing it up? So I'm going to go ahead and put the ring lid on it now. Whew. If it's too warm to handle, always have a towel handy. Roll it up, wrap it around, then it helps you hold it. Now I don't want to squeeze it too tight. I just want it just tight enough to where I can feel the resistance, and that's good. That'll hold. So let's get another ring. Get a good grip. Okay. And I don't put a whole bunch of pressure into it. Let me do these other ones. And what I want to do is try to hurry up, but don't rush. But I want to hurry up and get these lids on top of the jars before the contents get too cool. Because what happens is once everything starts to cool down, the top of the lids will pop down and create a seal. And that's what we want. We want these sealed. Now, if these eggs were perfect and we were able to peel them without all the tears and blemishes, I would consider doing this and then putting them inside the boil pot, and I would continue boiling that with these inside the water and push out the excess air. And so I would make these, the lid tights kind of loose. And then after these boil for approximately, at my elevation, I should boil them for about 15 minutes to get all the excess air out, and then pull them out of the pot. And what that does is it preserves them. And that's where this whole idea really comes from. But since when we peeled the eggs, it wasn't exactly perfect, they might not keep at room temperature for very long, we're just going to go ahead and do a quick seal on them, stick them in the refrigerator. As long as they're in the refrigerator, they should be fine. And let that flavor soak into the meat of the eggs and the veggies. Ooh. And then in a couple weeks, they'll be ready for the boys to snack on. It's funny how they use it for different things. Bobby likes to just eat the eggs straight out of the jar, you know, just with toast or a snack. Doesn't matter. Sam likes to put his eggs, he likes to cook a bowl of ramen. So that's why Sam tends to lean more towards the Asian flavors. But he'll cook up a bowl of ramen, and then he'll put boiled eggs in with it as the meat, because if you buy ramen noodles packages by themselves, it barely has any real, it's mostly noodles and hot water. So he likes to add a little more robustness to it. There. And then it's still popped up right now. You hear that? So what's going to happen is I'm going to take all these jars and I'm going to sit them over there in front of that fan and let them cool down. And then once they cool down, the contents inside come less than room temperature. This is going to go pop, and it's going to make a loud pop noise. Those over there have already popped a couple times, so I know they're almost done. But once these pop, I know they're good and sealed. Then I put them in the fridge and they're good to go. If they don't pop, either I can take the contents out and do the whole process again, or the boys and I can just eat it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But that's the idea of how I can everything. So I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably enough eggs to make about, I want to say 2 or 3 more cans. Maybe I'll just fill the rest of the other cans up with more vegetables and put it in like the pickle juice, or maybe just salt water. You know, it really, you can throw in spices that you like, turmeric, cumin, salt, pepper. I don't recommend garlic powder or onion powder, because if you can use the fresh garlic and onion, and I've also got in here, I've got some fresh sliced ginger. When you use dehydrated powders like garlic powder and onion powder, it tends to expand a little bit. And our goal when we're canning stuff like this is to get everything inside to contract. So, but spice it up. Cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes are really good. Sam even put garlic chili paste, Asian garlic chili paste, in his mix with plum sauce and soy sauce and all this other good stuff. So another good one is mix mustard with some water and boil it and pour that. Maybe that's what I'll do with these. You see how, like, as you go along, you can get more ideas, and just make it yours. I'm sweating because it's all boiling and hot right here. So I'm gonna do the rest of the jars, and I have a few other jars over here on standby that I just pulled out of the boxes. So I already made some room in my cabinets. Got some sitting here. Gonna add more to it, and we'll have just an army of eggs over the next week. So it'll save us some time. If the boys get hungry and I'm tired or I'm busy, just open up the fridge, pull out whatever they want to eat, and just have a snack or make it for dinner. Those Asian eggs, if you soak them in soy sauce, straight soy sauce, then you come home one night, microwave a few of those eggs and eat them on rice. So good. Anyways, that's kind of my process, guys. If you look at my messy counter, this is what it all looks like when I'm working on a Sunday. On top of that, I'm gonna make some banana bread a little bit later, so I'll show you how I make that. I just got so much going on. I have been at this since about 7 o'clock this morning, and it is 2:15 right now. So I hope you guys ask me questions if you aren't sure about something that I just went over. My process is not perfect. I'm not one of those professional homesteaders. I just started doing this about 5 months ago, but I like it and it works. And as long as oh, did you hear it? It just popped. It's sealed. I don't know which one did it. It was this one. This one right here just popped. So it's already in the process. I'm gonna finish the rest. So if you guys can make it yourself, you make it your home. Come on over to my home. We'll make it my home, our home. So thanks guys for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.